Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the warm applause, and thank you for the warm applause you showered on, of course, our U.S. Senator who's visiting the U.S. Ambassador, the wonderful message from former Foreign Affairs Minister Baird, who's the best Foreign Affairs Minister Canada has ever had. And thank you for the warm reception you're showing to all my colleagues and parliamentarians, but I would like us to reserve the warmest reception and applause for those that matter, and that's the women and men in the front lines that are fighting this draconian regime back in Iran. They are the ones that are showing unwavering courage, and I also want to thank the diaspora of Iranian people in all corners of the world who have not just been relishing in their freedom, but they're fighting shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, and not forgetting that back home they deserve as much freedom, the Iranian people, as any other human being. Democracy, freedom, human rights, and the rule of law, my dear friends, is not some abstract concept. These are fundamental principles upon which our democracies and our societies function. You can't have free enterprise. You can't have these wonderful countries that we have in the Western world if we don't have these fundamental principles. And these principles of democracy and freedom and human rights are principles that human beings have died for in defense for now centuries. They've given up their blood and their life. That's how important it is, because at the end of the day, as we see from our brothers and sisters in Iran, there's no point living in fear and on your knees if you can't live in freedom and on your feet. It's fundamentally important. I also want to just share with you a couple of thoughts, colleagues, that democracy has never been more at peril than it is today. We've seen the growth of authoritarianism around the world, and we are dangerously seeing democracies around the world having this reflex of appeasement, turning a blind eye or burying their head in the sand, and it has to stop if we want in order to save democracy, because like I said, it is in peril. I want to say this, even in our own country, we have politicians that make grand declarations. They stand in solidarity when it comes to these wonderful causes of human rights. But human rights, like I said, is not an abstract concept and shouldn't be only defended with words, but it needs to be defended with action. So whenever you get politicians, and we've had a few, and even in our own country, that come before you and tell you we need dialogue. Imagine, we've had politicians in our own country that say, you need dialogue with a draconian regime like the one we have in Tehran. And let me tell you, anytime you hear a politician say that, all they do is they embolden these draconian regimes to continue to carry on their unacceptable behavior. I'm known in my Senate for not mincing words, so I will not mince words, and I will leave you with this as Canadian Iranians and as all Canadians. I am ashamed by the fact that right here today and now in Canada, we have friends and family of this regime living in this country. And not once have I seen our government apply something called the Magnitsky Act against these individuals. We have had in our Parliament of Canada, both in the House of Commons and in the Senate, unanimous declarations calling on our government to list the IRGC as terrorist groups. Well, Mr. Trudeau, use the Magnitsky Act if you're serious about defending the Iranian freedoms, and also list the IRGC as a terrorist group once and for all. Thank you, and keep up the good fight.